Senator Lindsey Graham leaving no doubt where he stands. He joins us. Good evening, Senator.
Thank you. That's pretty colorful.
Yes, I guess we know how you stand on this.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a military prison in a very isolated part of the world. And to the Guard force, you're doing a great job. I don't know if you've been to Gitmo, but the Guards go through a pretty tough time down there. It's transparent. It's open to the world to inspect. It's Geneva Convention compliant. And President Obama has been reluctant to really create a legal system here at home I feel comfortable with. So let's leave them right where we've got them.
Well, you know, President ran in 2008 on closing Gitmo,
Yeah.
and in 2009 signed an order, I think, on the first day in office about closing it. Well, that hasn't happened.
Right.
So is it your idea that we should just keep this indefinitely detained? I mean, what about any sort of trial or due process or anything?
They're all getting trials down there, and all of them have been to habeas judges. All of them have a right to go before a federal judge. No one is held at Gitmo unless they pass through an independent judiciary. If they're going to be tried, they should be tried in military court. Those who attacked us on 9/11, that's not a common crime. I think they're war criminals.
What if we're going to detain them? What's the difference between detaining them? I mean, why would the president want to detain them in the territory of the United States? I know that there was a prison in Illinois that was discussed. If they're going to be detained, does it make a difference where we detain them?
Well, I think these are not common criminals. I think they're high-value terrorist targets, and keeping away from population centers is smart.
Well, why would he not want that? I mean, I can't get the downside on this.
Gitmo has created an image problem for us because there was abuses there early on. The prison's been cleaned up, it's well run. And the problem I have with the president is in closing Guantanamo Bay and moving to the United States, I want a legal regime that understands these are not common criminals but war criminals, and they represent a military threat. The law of war detention, I've been a military lawyer for 30 years, is not to punish people per se, it's to hold them off the battlefield and gather intelligence. And if they're going to be tried, they should be tried by military commissions, because Al-Qaeda represents a military threat against our country, and the difference between fighting a war and a crime is significant, and this president, I don't think, understands the difference.
You know, I haven't seen Gitmo, but I've certainly seen a lot of U.S. prisons.
You should go down there.
No, I'd like to, but I've seen a lot of U.S. prisons, and I suspect, always sort of the newer prisoner, my guess is that Gitmo's probably nicer than probably a lot of these U.S. prisons.
It's the best run, yes.
I mean, I've seen these. I mean, I would guess, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Why don't you go with me?
I'll go with you.
It's the best run prison, military prison anywhere in the world. And I'm proud of the Guard force. I'm proud of the fact that we're holding people humanely. But I am very insistent that we fight this as a war. The people down there are not common criminals. They're warriors. They need to be held off the battlefield.
My guess, it's just a wild guess, is that someone would rather be detained at Gitmo than some of these prisons in the U.S. But anyway, it's just a wild guess. All right, let me ask you about the fiscal cliff. Where do we stand on the? I mean, are we going over this?
On the edge.
We're staying on the edge. I understand that.
Can I just tell you what I want to avoid, though? What I want more than anything else is to get the country out of debt in a permanent way. The big problem with us becoming Greece is not revenue, it's not the tax code, it's entitlements. 10,000 baby boomers retire a day. Social Security and Medicare are about $50 trillion underfunded combined. And we need to adjust the age for retirement slowly but surely for people under 55, because we're all living longer. You and I need to pay a little more into the system because we can afford it. And that's the kind of entitlement reform we need to avoid becoming Greece.
Well, there are two things you can do. I mean, we can do nothing. I guess there are three things. You do nothing, you can manage it, or you can solve it. Managing is sort of a limping along situation with lots of risk, and recognize that more baby boomers are coming along. It's management is eventually going to get much more of a cataclysmic situation.
You know, that's a good point. I wish people would look at it the way. The longer you wait to solve it, the harder it is. If we do nothing, Social Security runs out of money in 2033, Medicare goes broke in 2024, and to fix it, you would have to increase taxes by 1/3 for the entire population, or cut benefits by 28%. If you do it now, you could save the benefit stream for those who need it the most, ask people like me to pay more, and reduce my benefits because I could afford to take that hit. And the sooner you do it, the easier it is for us all. And this president, my biggest problem with President Obama is that he's a small-minded president in big times. He is talking about 35 versus 39.6 for people that make over $1 million. That doesn't get us out of debt.
That should pay 8 days.
You could take 8 days. What I'm talking about is working as Republicans and Democrats like Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan. I'm not asking Medicare to become
or even
a
Governor Martinez in New Mexico. She did with the Democratic legislature.
Let's do it together. You know, Medicare, I'm not asking it to become a voucher program. I'm not asking to privatize Social Security. If we adjusted the age of retirement over the next 30 years like Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill, adjusted the CPI index and means-tested benefits, we could save Medicare and Social Security from insolvency, and people need these programs. And the good news is we'd get our kids and grandkids out of the situation of becoming Greece. Why this president doesn't take our offer up to reform entitlements together, and we would generate more revenue. I'm for generating more revenue only if we get entitlement reform.
Senator, thank you. Always nice to see you, sir.
Thank you.